Hey everybody, it's Luke over at Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got a product from Rockspace. This is their AC2100 dual band Gigabit Wi-Fi router that you can check out on Amazon at the time of this review for $79.99, and I believe they're also offering a 15% off coupon that brings it down even lower. So if you're looking for a Wi-Fi router to possibly, complement your setup at home, or something that is going to, in my case, just be hardwired to the ONT and replacing the router from my wireless provider, then this may be a great deal for you. We're going to do a quick unboxing, dig into it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's get this unboxed and show you guys what comes in the box. This is a very small router, which I really do like. It'll work with anything above Windows XP. They put 7, 8, and 10. Of course, it does work with Mac as well, but they say the minimum requirement is Windows XP, just in case you need to know that. On the side of the box, they list that. Now, there are some features that I'm going to go over through the review instead of just reading you the back of the box, because that can get pretty boring. Inside the box there is also some documentation for setup, but we're going to kind of go over that now, so I'm just going to skip over that part. Now, of course, you're going to get your proprietary power plug here that you're going to need to be able to plug in your router. You're going to get an Ethernet cable, which is a flat Ethernet cable that you can use to hook up your router and get it going, which will also explain how I'm going to set it up and show you some speed tests later on here as well. So let's get this router out of this packaging, and you can see it's kind of a very small and compact router. It's got 4 antennas that you can adjust to your liking, and depending on which way you may need more signal. And that's pretty cool. They're flat antennas, and they're very nice. Now on the top, it's very interesting. It looks like a Lego setup on the top, and I did test some Legos on there, and they do fit on there. You're going to have some blue LEDs here for system, WAN, LAN, and Wi-Fi. You're going to have some venting on the sides, and on the back, we're going to have our blue WAN port. We're also going to have our power port next to that as well, and then we have 4 gigabit Ethernet ports, so you can hook those in. You're going to have a WPS and a reset button, plus a USB slot, and on the bottom you're going to have some feet to hold it in place. You're also going to have a sticker on the bottom there that has your default password and identification for the router itself. Overall, very small and compact unit, very lightweight as well. So let us get this hooked up, and we'll show you exactly what kind of settings we've got going on with this particular router. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do, obviously, other than plug it in, is you're going to want to plug in an Ethernet cable to the blue WAN port here. And now this can be from your cable provider or internet provider's router, or if you have access directly to the ONT, you can plug directly into that from the ONT if you're close enough for that, which is exactly what I did. I kind of took the router out of the equation that came with my service provider. Now you've got 4 Ethernet ports here, and you're going to want to plug your PC into, or Mac, into one of the Ethernet ports, and you should be ready to go set up this router via your PC or Mac. You can also set this up using the Rockspace app on your smartphone, but I was just going to do this for the PC setup. To do the PC setup, once you have those 2 cables plugged into the back, one into your WAN port for your internet connection, and then the other one for the PC or Mac that you're going to be using this, you're just going to want to open up a browser of your choice and go to 192.168.0.1, and it will bring you to this quick setup wizard for your Rockspace router. Now it's going to ask you to select your connection type. Now it detected mine was dynamic IP address, and most people's will be. You may have a static one set up, you may have PPPoE set up, but most people are going to be dynamic, so I'm going to hit next there. And now here are your Wi-Fi settings, and you can rename what you want your Wi-Fi SSID to be there. You can add a password for the admin account and for the password here for your Wi-Fi, or you can check this box and use the same password for Wi-Fi and for this as well. So let me put in a password here. So once I add one there, I'm going to select it so that it's the Wi-Fi password and it's also the password for the admin account. You can do it differently if you want to, but it's one less that I have to remember. And then you're all set. Now, if we go to more, there's going to be a ton of other features that I'm going to try to quickly cover here, and it's going to ask us for our password again, so I'm going to have to put that in really quickly just to get linked up. So once we do get everything linked up, there we are. We are now in here. Your default page is going to be internet status, letting you know that you are connected to the internet and that your 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz networks are running. What's connected via the USB port in the back. You can put a USB drive and share files using the USB App Center if you want to, so that's something that's extra and pretty cool. What's wired, and if you have any extenders set up. I do not have any extenders set up, and the only thing that's wired right now is the PC that I'm using to set up the router. Now, your internet settings, again, are going to be your, whether it's dynamic or static IP address, your DNS settings, where if you want to use, say, Google's DNS, you can do that here as well. If we go into Wi-Fi settings, you're going to have your name and your password, and this is where you can go back in, and if I want to change that SSID from Rockspace to something else, I can. Now, something else that's neat about this is unifying your 2.4 gigahertz and your 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi into a single SSID, which means if I do unify it, it's only going to have one name, and your device is going to pick the fastest connection, be it either 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz, depending on how far away you are from the router, most likely. Or if it's an older device, it will automatically pick 2.4, and if it's a newer device that has 5 gigahertz, it will do that as well. So that is a really neat feature. You only have to deal with one SSID. You also have Wi-Fi scheduling. If you want to turn on a Wi-Fi schedule, you can have it turn off during certain hours. If you do not want Wi-Fi going on here at certain hours, you have repeating, so it can be a repeater if you want it to use WISP or client plus AP, which means you can actually use this as an extender to your existing network if you want to, so that's cool as well. Channels and bandwidth, this will be for your 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, whether you're in mixed mode or dedicated. Your Wi-Fi channel, you can make that, or it will automatically pick one for you, and of course your megahertz as well, 20 or 40 for 2.4 and 20, 40 or 80 for your bandwidth on those two. You've got transmit power, and this is pretty interesting. If you've got a smaller space and you don't need to have it reach as far, you can put it on medium or low for those bands as well. WPS is enabled. This is just a quick button that I showed you on the back, and we have a smart Wi-Fi coverage technology, which is Beamforming Plus, and what this is going to do is it's going to try to lock on to a device that's using your Wi-Fi and strengthen the signal towards that device, giving it a better speed. You can put this in AP mode if you want to as well, so you can use this in AP mode if you need to. So again, you've got a ton of different features on this, and of course anti-interference is on auto, so if you're getting interference by other 2.4 gigahertz devices, you can enable or leave it on auto. I'm just going to leave it on auto. We have a ton of different features on the left-hand side. We've got a guest network. You can set up a guest network. Parental controls, of course, are set in here as well. You have a VPN setup, USB app for that USB port on the back, IP version 6 settings as well. So if you're going to be using those and you want to enable those, they're there as well. We have even more in advanced settings. We've got bandwidth control in case you want to meter that bandwidth, IPTV, a Rockspace Wi-Fi app, and this one's interesting. If you enable this, it will allow you to use the Rockspace app on your phone or tablet to totally configure this exactly like we're doing from our PC right now from your phone. Sleeping mode, LED control if you want to turn off your LED lights on the front if you have it in the bedroom or something like that. Your filter MAC addresses and add blacklisting, firewalls, which are actually on and ready to go right out of the box, which is always a good thing, static routes, DDNS, virtual server, DMZ host, and UPnP is all in there as well. So if you want to use UPnP, you can set that up right there. Now, under system settings, it's just your basics that you're going to see in system settings: LAN settings, DHCP reservations. You're going to be able to set up a DHCP server. You're going to be able to set your DNS settings there. WAN settings, time settings are automatically set in WAN settings. We can go back through and we can either leave it on 1 gigabits auto negotiation, which is probably what you're going to want to do. But if you have older devices that can only run 100 or 10 megabits per second full or half duplex, you can set them here as well. So that's interesting that they've got that there. And again, just so many setups here. Your login and your password. This is rebooting and resetting. This is where you can reboot or reset, which will factory reset your settings. Firmware upgrade will automatically go out and look for a firmware upgrade for your router. So that's very helpful as well. And then you're going to have backup restore, remote management, system status, system logs, and automatic maintenance. So what does this translate into? Well, let's go to speed test, and I am hardwired here, and we're going to see how well this does on my gigabit connection. Now, normally I get anywhere from 800 to 900 on my current router, and this one is plotting right at that same download speed, 880, 885 megabits per second. My upload is usually a little higher than this. It's doing about 590 or 600, somewhere in that range. Usually I get closer to 700 or 750. So do I have any problems with this? Not at all. This is very strong. No problems with the speeds on this whatsoever. They're in line with all the other routers that I've tested on this network. So that's what I've got to say about this. We'll take it to the close of the review. So here's my final thoughts on the Rockspace AC2100 dual band gigabit Wi-Fi router. I paid double the price that they're offering on this particular model on another model from another brand. And this actually has more features in it than the one I paid double for. And that speaks volumes to me as somebody that is pretty much a general consumer, even though I do these videos on YouTube, that this is a really good bargain for the price. Just the sheer amount of customization that you can do in this router alone for $79.99, plus right now they're running a 15% off. Plus, they even said that they'll probably give me some codes that I'll put in the description below that'll get you guys some money off as well. So take a look at that. To bring this down even lower than $79 is just insane crazy. It's pretty much the same exact speeds that I was getting from my original router that I paid double the money for. I get on this router, and it does have more things like unifying your 2.4 gigahertz and your 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi that mine doesn't have, that I paid double for. So I'm definitely giving this a thumbs up. The Wi-Fi experience on this, although I didn't show it off in the video, was just as good as my other router that I paid double for. So speeds are there, distance is there, customization is definitely there. Rockspace did a really great job, and I'm definitely giving this 2 thumbs up. This was Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. This should be on your short list if you're looking for a new router. I'll check you guys out on the next one. Remember to like, and if you guys haven't subscribed, please do so, because that always helps me out. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.